Have you ever wondered about the difference between Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? This question takes us on a fascinating journey into the world of martial arts, where the art of Jiu-Jitsu was born. The Gracie family, a name synonymous with the evolution of this martial art, played an instrumental role in its development. As we embark on this exploration, we'll touch upon the roots of Jiu-Jitsu and its different branches. As we delve deeper, we'll uncover the unique paths Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu have taken over the years. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, a name synonymous with the martial art itself, but how did it all begin? The roots of this revered martial art stretch back to the early 20th century, when a young man named Carlos Gracie was introduced to a form of judo known as Kano Jiu-Jitsu. His tutor was none other than Mitsuyo Maeda, a Japanese Jiu-Jitsu champion with an impressive international record. Carlos was so captivated by this martial art that he dedicated his life to studying it, eventually sharing his knowledge with his younger brothers. Among them was Helio Gracie, who, despite his frail physique, would become one of the most influential figures in the development of modern Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Helio's physical limitations prevented him from using the strength-based techniques of traditional judo. So he began to modify these techniques, focusing on leverage and timing rather than brute force. The result was a style of jiu-jitsu that could be used effectively by anyone, regardless of size or strength. As the Gracie brothers refined their techniques, a philosophy began to form at the heart of their martial art. They realized that in a real-world confrontation, the goal was not to defeat an opponent, but to survive. This shift in mindset led to the development of a self-defense-focused style of jiu-jitsu that prioritized protection over victory. To spread their unique style, the Gracie family established the first Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy in the early 1930s. Here, they would teach their defensive martial art to those seeking to protect themselves without resorting to violence. The academy also served as a proving ground for Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, with the family regularly accepting challenge matches to demonstrate the effectiveness of their techniques. The Gracie family's commitment to their martial art led to the creation of a fighting system that is as relevant today as it was back then. Through their relentless refinement and dedication, they transformed a martial art into a philosophy, a way of life. The Gracie family, taking what they learned, refined it into a martial art emphasizing survival and self-defense, thus creating Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. From its inception, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu continued to evolve, but how did this happen? As we delve into this chapter of the story, we see the creation of two groundbreaking initiatives, Gracie University and Gracie Combatives. These were born out of the need to standardize the teaching of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu worldwide, ensuring that the art form stayed authentic and accessible. Gracie University, an online learning platform, was conceived by Hiron and Henner Gracie, the grandsons of Helio Gracie, the founder of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. They saw the need for a structured, comprehensive curriculum that would make the art accessible to anyone, anywhere. The university offers a wealth of knowledge, from beginner to advanced levels, and prides itself on the ability to teach students remotely while maintaining the integrity and effectiveness of the techniques. On this platform, the teachings of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu are broken down into digestible lessons, making it easier to grasp the complexities of this martial art. The university also promotes the philosophy of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, emphasizing its principles of respect, discipline, and the use of technique over brute strength. In parallel, Gracie Combatives came into existence. This is a dedicated self-defense program designed by the Gracie family to empower individuals with no previous martial arts experience. The program focuses on the most common threat scenarios and equips students with practical skills to neutralize threats effectively. This is in line with the original intention of Helio Gracie, who developed Gracie Jiu-Jitsu as a means for the weak to overcome the strong. These initiatives have enabled the Gracie family to preserve the essence of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu while adapting to the digital age. They have made it possible for anyone, regardless of location or experience, to learn this powerful martial art, thus spreading the influence of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu far and wide. The development of Gracie University and Gracie Combatives was a significant milestone, ensuring the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu teachings could reach a global audience. This evolution of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu continues to impact the world of martial arts. shaping and influencing the way we understand self-defense in combat sports today. While Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was taking shape, another form was emerging, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But what sets it apart? In the 20th century, as Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was gaining ground with its focus on self-defense and practicality, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu started to carve out a niche of its own. This was a martial art that, while sharing the same roots with Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, branched out in a different direction. It was a direction that was geared more towards sport and competition. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or BJJ as it's commonly known, was developed by the Gracie family themselves, but with a slight twist. They introduced the concept of ground fighting and submission holds, transforming traditional Jiu-Jitsu into a more dynamic and competitive martial art. BJJ became a game of strategy and skill, where size and strength took a backseat to technique and agility. The ground became the battlefield, and the winner was not necessarily the strongest, but the one who could outmaneuver and outthink their opponent. This was a radical shift from the traditional martial arts, which were mostly based on brute force and power. The competitive nature of BJJ was not just about winning or losing. It was about pushing one's limits, constantly improving, and mastering the art. This aspect of BJJ resonated with many martial artists around the world, and it started to gain popularity. As the sport grew, so did the number of tournaments and competitions. From local to international levels, BJJ tournaments became a platform for martial artists to showcase their skills and test their mettle. The sport became so popular that it was even included in the World Games and is currently being considered for inclusion in the Olympic Games. The emergence of BJJ was not just about a new martial art. It was about a paradigm shift in the way people viewed and practiced martial arts. It was about the evolution of martial arts, from a form of combat to a form of sport and personal development. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, with its focus on sport, has made a significant impact on the martial arts world and continues to do so. So, we have Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, two forms of the same martial art, yet distinctly different. But how? Well, let's start with their focus. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, developed by the Gracie family, places a strong emphasis on self-defense. It's designed to empower the weak against the strong, using leverage and technique over brute strength. The goal is to neutralize threats and to escape dangerous situations unscathed. On the other hand, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, while it does include self-defense techniques, has evolved to focus more on sports competition. It's about winning matches, scoring points, and showcasing your skills in a controlled environment. The aim here is to dominate your opponent, using a variety of techniques to force them to submit. The teaching methods also differ. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu follows a structured curriculum with Gracie University and Gracie Combatives programs offering comprehensive online courses. The idea is to make the art accessible to everyone, everywhere, regardless of their proximity to a physical dojo. Contrarily, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tends to be more fluid in its teaching. While there's a basic structure, the focus is on sparring and live training. It's about learning through doing, experiencing the art firsthand in a dynamic, ever-changing context. Finally, there's a difference in competition rules. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu competitions usually allow strikes, emphasizing real-world applicability. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitions, on the other hand, usually prohibit strikes, focusing instead on grappling and ground fighting. So, you see, while both forms of Jiu-Jitsu share a common root, their approach to teaching, their focus, and their competition rules make them distinct. Each offers a unique interpretation of the art, catering to different needs and preferences. While they share a common root, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu have diverged in their goals and methods, each offering a unique approach to this martial art. From its origins to its modern forms, Jiu-Jitsu has a rich and diverse history. We've taken an enlightening journey through the timeline of this martial art, diving deep into the birth, evolution, and recent developments of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. To recap, we explored the fascinating inception of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, a style that emphasizes self-defense. The Gracie family took the traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and adapted it, focusing on techniques that would be effective in real-life situations. This led to the creation of Gracie University and Gracie Combatives, platforms designed to teach these techniques to the world. On the other hand, we have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a form that has evolved to focus primarily on sports. It's a style that values competition and the development of techniques to outmaneuver opponents in a controlled environment. It's not just about winning, It's about strategy, technique, and the thrill of the match. In essence, while Gracie Jiu-Jitsu focuses on practical self-defense techniques, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu leans more towards the sporting aspect of the martial art. Each style has its own distinct flavor, its own unique approach, and its own set of benefits. Whether it's the self-defense focus of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu or the competitive edge of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, each style provides a unique perspective on this ancient martial art. So which one suits you best?
Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out.